Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I'm your host and beat reporter, and I've been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI every single day since August 2019. And we are continuing to march through yet another offseason together. As always, Jaguars on SI is your best stop for all Jacksonville Jaguars news and analysis. We provide you the most comprehensive coverage you will find on the Jaguars anywhere, whether locally or nationally. And we give you around-the-clock, free boots-on-the-ground coverage. So don't forget that you can find us on social media, such as Facebook and Twitter, at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. And most importantly, don't forget, all of our content is 100% free for you, the faithful fans of Duval. Welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. Today we're going to talk about one of the more interesting draft quotes comparisons I've seen in this process, and it's a lofty one. In a piece by The Athletic, Bruce Feldman, the fantastic college football reporter, he does a mock drafts every offseason where, he talks to college players, scouts, etc., executives, coaches about, the potential top picks in the upcoming draft. And for Mason Graham, they certainly had a lot of interesting things to say. Obviously, there was some debate on, his tape, etc. The quality, is he a top 5 pick or is he really like a top 15 type player? But what the most interesting thing to me that was in there was that one Big Ten running back coach compared Graham to Aaron Donald. He said, quote, "This guy is so good at using his hands and diagnosing how he's being blocked so fast. Like Donald, I think he's got this ability where he processes so fast and counters so fast before the guy can even put hands on him. They have like an extra step and can win so fast. His get off is really good, and his hand fighting and the counters in his game are elite." Now, obviously, anybody that draws comparisons to Aaron Donald, it's going to be seen as, extremely lofty, potentially even unattainable because, he's not just a all-pro, all-world defensive tackle. He's not just, a guy who is one of the better defenders in Rams history. Anything like that. He's one of the best players in NFL history. And if you're getting compared to him in any sense, it's obviously setting a high bar. Now, looking at them physically, one thing that, it is hard to compare is, of course, the overall athleticism. I think Mason Graham looks like a very good athlete on the field. He has a good first step. He's able, really good balance, makes plays, with a nice tackle radius, chases down plays and shows off his speed there to an extent. But, as we've talked about, Mason Graham hasn't tested. Meanwhile, Aaron Donald, when he tested, among interior defensive linemen, he had a 99 percentile 10-yard split at 1.59 seconds, a 98 percentile 40-yard dash at 4.68 seconds, ridiculous, an 81st percentile vertical jump at 32 inches, a 95 percentile broad jump at 116 inches, a 97th percentile three-cone drill at 7.11 seconds, absolutely elite, and an 89th percentile 20-yard shuttle at 4.39 seconds. I mean, when you talk Aaron Donald, like that's what has to come up. Obviously, really similar to Mason Graham, he didn't exactly have the measurables. He was 9th percentile in height and 7th percentile in weight at just 6'1", 285. Mason Graham at the combine was 6'3.5", 296 pounds. Obviously not a big guy, it's 26 percentile weight. I know he's put on weight since then, but those are just, the combine numbers, obviously, that's had. But look at some of their other traits, wingspan. For Mason Graham, 25th percentile. Wingspan, overall is something that, he's going to face questions on just because of his length. Length, Mason Graham, 32 inches, 12th percentile. Aaron Donald, actually had longer arms than Mason Graham at 32 and 5/8 of an inch. And, just looking at things like that, hand size, obviously Aaron Donald at 9 7/8 of an inch was, had a bigger hand size than 7th percentile Mason Graham at 9 1/8 of an inch. But similar, I guess you could say, frames, except that Mason Graham obviously is just taller, can put on more weight, etc. Aaron Donald was really compact. But the ultimate question is Mason Graham the athlete that Aaron Donald was? And just because he didn't test, we don't know. We can obviously project by seeing, how he moves on the field. And I'd say he's a very good athlete, but we just do not have the numbers to actually back it up, with some concrete data. I think Mason Graham can be, a Pro Bowl, potential All-Pro caliber talent at defense tackle. His pass rush metrics, run stop metrics in college are all really high. Is he a prospect with absolutely no red flags? I don't think so. But he still, to me, has the profile of one of the better picks in this draft. And if he's like 3/4 of what Donald was for the Rams, who Liam Cohen and James Gladstone saw the impact that he can make firsthand, then the Jaguars would be smart to draft him. Thank you guys for joining me on today's episode. We'll be back next time.